In this video, I want to show you how I trim my daughter's split ends. This is something that I do every 5 to 6 months for the most part. And I like to trim the split ends because it helps to manage the hair, keep the hair manageable, and avoid those split ends from making the hair look unhealthy. I'm going in with the heat protectant. I like to use a heat protectant, especially when I'm going to use heat to stretch the hair. I'm using the Rev Air Dryer to stretch to blow dry the hair. If you've been watching my past videos, you know that I've been talking about minimizing the use of heat, like not using too much heat. So I've been mostly using threading to stretch the hair when I need to trim. But on this day, we were in a hurry and I needed to stretch the hair really quick so that I could cut the split ends. We didn't have time. So out came the Rev Air Dryer, which is actually not really bad in terms of heat. The heat with this dryer is very manageable. I feel like, heat damage is minimized. And then after I do one pass with that Rev Air Dryer, I go in with the brush, just paddle brush it just to brush it a little bit more. And then I go in with a fine tooth comb, small section by small section, comb out the hair as smoothly as possible. When the comb can pass through the hair without any obstruction, then I know that it's straight, it's stretched. And at that point, I'm comfortable trimming whatever split ends that I see at the end. If you're not sure where to cut, I advise that you use caution because you don't want to get scissor happy and end up cutting off all your hair. The truth is, with split ends, if you're not careful, you might cut too much. So I just try to cut where I see the hair starting to kind of thin out or looking rough, and then I cut off there. For sure, if this hair was being done by a professional that actually blow dries and does like a flat iron, they would be able to, I'm pretty sure they'll cut a lot more. But this is our home method. We're not going to cut too much. We're just going to cut where it looks rough and keep it moving. And honestly, if you're doing this on regular basis, your hair should be manageable. You should never really, your split ends should not get out of control. Okay. The problem is when you leave it for a long time without, trimming them off, and then they just kind of get worse with time. And then the day you go to the stylist, they're like, what the heck? For my girls, I've only taken them to a professional like once where their hair was like blow dried and flat ironed and the ends were trimmed when I think they were like 4 years old. And since then, I've been doing the trims myself. When they get older, I guess I'll take them back to a professional. But for now, mom is gonna handle it. So, yeah. So when I go with one pass of the Rev Air Dryer, I like to use the paddle brush to kind of just brush the strands and make them stretch a little bit more. And then I do small sections and go in with a fine tooth comb. And when I stretch it this way, then I'm confident that the hair is stretched enough for me to, trim the ends. The truth is, if you go to a professional and they do the blow dry in a professional way and do like a flat iron, the hair is going to be straighter and they'll probably see the split ends better, I guess. But this one works for the home. If you're doing it at home, this one works. And if you're doing this as regularly as possible, then your split ends will not get out of control. It's really important not to let your split ends get out of control because they will just get worse with time. And your split ends really just make your hair look very unattractive and unkempt, I feel like. Have you ever tried doing like two strand twists with split ends? Oh my god, they just look rough. And like they don't adhere to like your creams and your butters. The hair doesn't like curl. It's just kind of just there. So I really do like to trim. I try not to go too long without trimming, and I find that it's really good for maintaining your hair. Okay, and when I'm done trimming, I like to apply this sulfur 8 ointment on the scalp. I also use this on my own scalp, and it helps with like dandruff and keeps the hair moisturized. I love to use it when I'm in after a wash day before I install a protective style. So that's what I'm doing. I'm just applying it into the hair, into the scalp, and I'm gonna just massage it in. So go ahead and put a reminder on your calendar, okay? Make sure that you're doing those trims as regularly as possible. If you have natural hair, you don't want to let your split ends get out of control. Make sure that you're doing it, even if you can't go to a stylist. Put your hair in twists and just cut off some of those split ends that you see there that make your twist don't not look so nice. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye bye.